Everyone is equal. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, also known as Honest Abe, was one of the most beloved American presidents of all time. He was an honorable man who spent his life helping people. Because of him, the United States of America became a country with no masters or slaves. Lincoln grew up in a very poor family in a small log cabin in Kentucky. His parents were both hard-working farmers. He was a good son, and he worked hard on the farm. Sadly, Lincoln's mother died when he was just 9 years old. A year later, Lincoln's father married another woman. Her name was Sarah. Sarah was very kind and thoughtful and cared for Lincoln like her own son. She also told him that it was very important to study. Even though his family was poor, Lincoln wanted an education. He read many books from the village library, so he learned many things. He would travel for miles just to borrow books. As a young man, Lincoln worked many jobs. He worked as a shopkeeper, a surveyor, a lumberjack, and a mail carrier. In all of his jobs, people respected him for his hard work and honesty. When Lincoln was 22 years old, his family moved to Illinois. Lincoln decided to live by himself. He traveled to New Orleans. When he arrived, he saw a rich man buying 12 African slaves. He saw how the slaves were mistreated by their master. He heard stories about slaves being killed after asking for freedom. Lincoln had never seen slaves beaten before. He was shocked. He quickly went back to Illinois to his family.
Lincoln made a big decision. He knew that he could protect the slaves if he became a lawyer. Lincoln studied law on his own. He studied for the bar exam and became a lawyer. Later, he became a congressman from Illinois. People loved him because they knew that he cared for them. He ran for the office of senator, but his plans to stop slavery had made him unpopular, and he lost. But his desire to help others couldn't be stopped. He continued to practice law and help the poor and needy.
In 1860, Lincoln was elected president. He beat 3 candidates who supported slavery. Many people were surprised to see Lincoln become the president of the United States. Politicians from the southern states were Lincoln's enemies. 7 southern states separated from the United States and formed the Confederacy. The Confederacy declared war on the United States. It wanted to keep slavery. Lincoln asked the northern states to defend the United States and its people.
During the Civil War, Lincoln gave a speech to Northern soldiers at Gettysburg. He used that chance to encourage Americans to be proud of their country. He said that the United States was formed to give people freedom. He told the soldiers that they were fighting for something important. The war was a way for everyone to achieve freedom. He also said that the purpose of his government was to help people. Lincoln promised that a new kind of freedom would come to their land if they won the war.
In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. That order gave freedom to all the slaves in the United States. In 1865, the Civil War ended when the northern states defeated the Confederacy. Almost 600,000 Americans had died. However, some people, such as John Wilkes Booth, were still against the emancipation of the slaves. Booth had supported the Confederacy during the Civil War. He was upset that it had lost. One day, Lincoln went to Ford's Theater to watch a play. He was with his wife and some of his friends. Booth approached Lincoln during the show and shot him in the head.
Americans still believe that Abraham Lincoln was one of their greatest presidents. Lincoln will always be remembered as a great leader. A big statue was built in Washington, D.C. in his memory. Lincoln was great because he had principles that became the foundations of American society. He also taught Americans the importance of fighting for their rights. Lincoln was never afraid to suffer as long as he was doing the right thing. Like Lincoln, we should always fight for what is right.